Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I am Captain Christopher Garcia, your narrator for today's graduation ceremony. At this time, we would like to welcome all general officers, senior officers, command sergeants major, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Brigadier General Maurice O. Barnett and Command Sergeant Major Darrell E. Walls, thank you for your attendance today. Today's ceremony honors the successful completion of advance camp. The graduating unit for today is the 1st Regiment, the General George C. Marshall Regiment. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Cadet Raymond DePhillips from Cameron University. The color guard is comprised of cadets selected from the regiment. They are led by Cadet Joshua Tripp from Cameron University. Also participating in today's ceremony is the 338th Army Band from Whitehall, Ohio and Livonia, Michigan, commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 3 Teresa Hudson and Drum Major Staff Sergeant Jarrett Barr. To your far left, you will see the salute battery, provided by the Bravo Battery, Steel Squadron, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, 3rd Armored Corps from Fort Hood, Texas. They are led by First Lieutenant Jet Lucas Murphy and Staff Sergeant Jonathan Chavez. This ceremony marks the culmination of 36 days of rigorous and intensive training for these young men and women. For them, advance camp served as a test of their leadership abilities and potential to be an Army officer. They have emerged from this challenge confident in their ability to assume the tremendous responsibilities of being an Army officer. The cadets of the 1st Regiment are now formed in front of you. Each regiment has had the honor of having bestowed upon it a namesake. This namesake is in honor of a general officer whose values and accomplishments represent the best the Army has to offer. 1st Regiment has had the distinct privilege of honoring General George C. Marshall. George Catlett Marshall graduated from the Virginia Military Institute in 1901 and was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the infantry branch. He served in the United States and overseas in positions of increasing rank and responsibility during wars and global conflicts spanning throughout the first half of the 20th century. During World War II, General Marshall served as the Army Chief of Staff and General of the Army, holding the rank of 5-star general. After his distinguished military career, General Marshall continued to serve his country as a special envoy to China, the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of Defense. General Marshall was largely responsible for rebuilding Europe after World War II in what was known as the Marshall Plan. His awards include the Distinguished Service Cross, being named Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1943, and the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1953. General Marshall passed away on October 16, 1959. In honor of their completion of advance camp, the cadets from the General George C. Marshall Regiment will be receiving a 3-gun salute in the form of a cadet cannonade. The commander of troops will now bring the units to attention and present arms. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is the Deputy Commander, United States Space Command, Lieutenant General Thomas L. James. He is accompanied by the host and the regimental training officer, Lieutenant Colonel Dennis Marr. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the rendering of honors to the reviewing officer and the invocation offered by Chaplain Major Daniel Hammond.
Please join me in prayer. Feel free to pray in your tradition as I pray in mine. Gracious Heavenly Father, what an honor and privilege to call upon you this day as we celebrate the achievements of these cadets with CST 2025 1st Regiment and their accomplishments to complete the training of Advanced Camp. We honor them and their endeavors to continue their journey as leaders in the United States Army. Thank you for the wisdom, leadership, and guidance of the 1st Regiment cadre who helped these students face challenges, overcome fears, and defeat obstacles that were before them. May these days spent here continue to solidify the foundation stones of their leadership to be men and women fulfilling the Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. During this graduation ceremony, may your holy presence be experienced by the cadets, their friends and family, and the cadre and leadership of the United States Army Cadet Command. I ask this in your holy name, the name that is above all names. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Post the colors.
The colors are now being brought forward by the commander of troops. The flags present for today's ceremony are the national colors, the Army field flag, and the Cadet Command colors.
Present the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing during the firing of the cadet cannonade. We ask that military personnel in uniform maintain their hand salute until the completion of the cadet cannonade. The United States Army ROTC Cadet Cannonade salutes the three pillars of our service to the nation. Duty, obedience, and disciplined performance despite difficulty or danger. Duty requires self-responsibility and selfless devotion. Honor. Encompassing integrity and dedication. Honor is the thread which holds together the fabric of our Army. Country. For which men and women have given their lives. Our country shines as a light of freedom and dignity to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Cadet Creed was adopted to instill in Army cadets the values that are critical for successful performance. Cadet Dominic Del Toro from Hofstra University will now recite the Cadet Creed.
The Cadet Creed. I am an Army cadet. Soon I will take an oath and become an Army officer, committed to defending the values which make this nation great. Honor is my touchstone. I understand mission first and people always. I am the past, the spirit of those warriors who made the final sacrifice. I am the present, the scholar and apprentice soldier, enhancing my skills in the science of warfare and the art of leadership. But above all, I am the future warrior leader of the United States Army. May God give me the compassion and judgment to lead, and the gallantry in battle to win. I will do my duty. Leadership excellence, sir.
The greater community of Fort Knox and our national and local service organizations are here to show their support to our future Army leaders. These cadets have demonstrated superior character in service throughout training and will be recognized for their efforts. We kindly ask family and friends to remain seated during the awards presentation. The awardees will be brought forward immediately following the ceremony for pictures. The AUSA Leadership Excellence Award is presented by Mr. Mike Pesco. This award is presented to the top cadet in each regiment as determined by a regimental cadre board. This award is presented to Cadet Michaela Fisher from Furman University. The First Command Financial Service Award is presented by Mr. Chuck York. This award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrates the leadership traits necessary to encourage teamwork, improve unit cohesion, and reinforce mission accomplishment. This award is presented to Cadet Brouwen Van Camp from Bethel University. The USAA Warrior Ethos Award is presented by Sergeant Major Retired Richard Vila. This award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrated the Army profession, ethic, and officership while exemplifying the warrior spirit. This award is presented to Cadet Mason Brilmerdink from Marquette University. The Armed Forces Bank Performance Award is presented by Miss Nicole Shoemaker. This award is presented to the cadet that best demonstrates respect for other cultures and people by effectively utilizing the training scenarios to demonstrate their mastery of the cross-cultural competencies needed in complex environments. This award is presented to Cadet Brandon Miller from Clemson University. The Army National Guard Association of the United States Excellence Award is presented by Brigadier General Joseph Lear. This award is presented to the Army National Guard cadet who demonstrates the most improvement in physical and mental preparedness for commissioning. This award is presented to Cadet Granton Rigney from Texas A&M University. The Reserve Officers Organization of America Award is presented by Lieutenant Colonel Clay Murray. This award is given to the cadet that embodies the characteristics of a comprehensive soldier by demonstrating resilience and the lifelong pursuit of enhanced performance to cope with adversity in stressful situations and thrive in life. This award is presented to Cadet Alex Rogers from the University of Kansas. The Military Officers Association of America Award is presented by Brigadier General Retired Charles Estes. This award is given to the cadet that has demonstrated superior dedication to duty by accepting accountability for self and assigned a unit through employment of team members, all while applying the fundamentals of leadership. This award is presented to Cadet Hannah Fuchko from George Gwinnett College. The Military Order of the World Wars Award is presented by Brigadier General Retired Charles Estes. This award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrates the ability to evaluate, analyze, apply, and understand experiences and capabilities to solve tactical problem sets. This award is presented to Cadet Riley Hatfield from the University of South Alabama. The Bold Leader Spirit Award is presented by Sergeant Major Retired Charles Farley. This award is presented to the cadet who best demonstrates appropriate motivational techniques, inspirational leadership, and the spirit of a leader. This award is presented to Cadet James Jefferson III from Southeastern Louisiana University. The Strategic Resources Incorporated Award is presented by Mr. Cole Peters. This award is presented to the male and female cadet who achieved the overall highest score on the Army Fitness Test. This award is presented to Cadets Mason Brilmerdink from Marquette University, and Cadet Abigail Gurr from Northern Arizona University. The United States Army Reserve Truman Citizen Soldier Award is presented by Brigadier General Kirk Daly. This award is presented to the Army Reserve cadet in each regiment that has distinguished themselves amongst their peers as a top performer and exemplifies outstanding leadership qualities. This award is presented to Cadet Brian Negrete from the University of Texas at Arlington. The Mission POW MIA Award is presented by Mr. Dave and Ms. Janine Hoffman. This award is presented to the cadet who demonstrates character and courage through leadership, selflessness, and fortitude. This award is presented on behalf of all missing and unaccompanied or unaccounted for Americans from all past conflicts. This award is presented to Cadet Aaliyah Curry from the University of Louisville. The Recondo Award is presented to the cadets who displayed superior individual performance. Cadets must have met the Army standards for height and weight, earned at least 80 points or more in each of the Army fitness test events, successfully negotiated 8 out of the 10 obstacles, scored a second class or higher on the hand grenade assault course, completed their 6-mile foot march in 90 minutes or less, scored 80% or higher on the written land navigation test, be a first-time go and navigate to at least 6 out of the 7 land navigation points from both day and night land navigation combined, be a first-time go and qualify as a sharpshooter or higher on the basic rifle marksmanship pop-up range, receive a go or a pass for 80% of their warrior skills tasks and all other evaluated tasks, and graduate in good standing. Cadets from the 1st Regiment awarded the Recondo badge have been annotated in your program with an asterisk by their name. At the completion of the ceremony, today's awardees will return to the field for individual congratulations and photo opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving our awardees a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, the Deputy Commander, United States Space Command, Lieutenant General Thomas L. James.
Thank you. Thanks. Hey, what a beautiful day out here today. Although a touch warm, so I would ask for the formations to please stand at rest. Rest. Not lay down and take a nap, but you got what we're doing here. Hey, I want to thanks to everybody that had a hand in bringing the cadets that you see in front of you here today, some pretty rigorous training. I want to thank the distinguished guests that are here today, the families, the cadre, the band. You sound awesome, and you add a real touch of class to the ceremony. Appreciate that. And the salute battery, who got a good workout today. And I want to thank especially the cadets of the 1st Regiment from the Army ROTC Advanced Camp. See if I can get a big hooah from you guys. Hooah? That's pretty good. I like that. I'm done. No, let's a few more things and then I'm done. Hey, I'm really glad to be here on the 4th of July weekend, and you have to go, you're crazy, because you could be barbecuing somewhere or doing something else, and there were things that I thought about when they said, well, you do this on the 4th of July weekend. And when I really put a little bit of time into that, I said, where would I rather be than here? I mean, this is why we have a 4th of July. This is what makes our nation great. We can't do what it is the United States does and protect the freedoms and liberties and our values without a strong military. So I was driving up on kind of a long drive on the 4th, and I had a chance to listen to some podcasts. The young kids know what all that is. I'm still learning. Listen to the Revolutionary War, some of the history for that, the signing of the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution, listening to the fight at Bunker Hill, Lexington, and Concord, and these reminded me of how we fight and why we fight. We had a rough start to the beginning of our nation, but we held our ground, we regrouped, and in the end, our so-called rabble won the war that birthed our nation. That's our start. That's the start of the United States Army. It is a solemn lineage, tradition, and a solemn duty. It reminded me of why it's so important for us to be here today. You are the lifeblood of this nation. Don't ever forget it. Today we celebrate a significant milestone in your journey to becoming leaders in the United States Army. We celebrate your resilience, your dedication, your aptitude, and your unwavering commitment to serving our nation. You've conquered the demanding challenges of this rigorous training, demonstrating not only your physical prowess, but also your mental agility and your fortitude. You've proven your ability to lead your peers under pressure, adapt to rapidly changing circumstances, and make critical decisions in the face of adversity. In short, you've demonstrated the potential to lead soldiers in combat, a sacred responsibility. But as you stand in the starting blocks of your commissioned military careers, poised at the sound of the starter's pistol to join the ranks of the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen, there's an idea that I want to leave with you today, and it's this. Don't let the world happen to you. You happen to the world. Think about that, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, but it's easy to kind of just go along and follow the simple rules that's been placed in front of you, do what the Army's taught you to do, and let that be enough, and that will not be enough to win on the future battlefield. Don't let the world happen to you. You happen to the world. I used that line at a commencement speech at a high school graduation a few years ago. I presented it as an option for those graduating seniors, kind of a fork in the pathway of their future selves. But for you, I don't mean that as an option. I think that is, in my opinion, it is a moral responsibility that you will pick up with your commissioning and as you join our ranks. It means to take initiative and responsibility for your words and for your deeds. Why does that matter? I think on the battlefields of tomorrow, they will not resemble the battlefields of the past or even those that we imagine today. There will be great change. If you believe in this idea, and it's been argued by a lot of historians, that the nature of war doesn't change, all the way back to the Peloponnesian War, probably the best documented war we've got, thanks to our good friend Thucydides, we see that the human nature that causes us to use force and violence by one people against another people and vice versa reads just like the wars of this century and the last, especially World War I and World War II. The same reasoning and rationale for fighting or capitulating applied just as much to Thucydides' world as it does in ours. It's an ingrained part of the human condition and remains unchanging. That's the nature of war. But unlike that nature of war, the character of war is changing rapidly. And a study of history will show you how it continues to ramp and accelerate, with ever-emerging new technologies that lend themselves to warfare in many and unexpected ways. More than ever, you can't rely on just the learning that the Army has presented to you in the way that you've been taught here. You've been taught very well. But there's too much change at too quick a pace. You must constantly drive your organization and your soldiers in concert with your commander's vision to be ahead of the curve of that changing character of war. And a big part of that war has to do with cyber and space. We talked about it. The announcer mentioned that I was the deputy commander of U.S. Space Command. Probably a lot of folks aren't sure exactly what Space Command does. If you look at the way that some of our leading adversaries are beginning to take advantage of the new domain of space as a warfighting domain, it will be critically important to be able to fight the way we have to fight and win the way we have to fight to gain space superiority in that fight. That takes some adjusting to in your mind to understand what that is. Those are the types of innovative thoughts that I'm talking about. And we don't have a choice. We can't just let the world happen to us. We have to happen to the world. On behalf of General Whiting from U.S. Space Command and 18,000 folks that are part of that effort to maintain space superiority, I want to tell you that their mission of deterring war from going into space, from being able to defeat an adversary in space if called upon, is a big part of what I think you're going to see in the future war that you will be part of. Rapidly evolving technologies, the proliferation of information, and the reemergence of near-peer threats have created a volatile and uncertain global security environment. You must expect to confront unexpected adversaries employing emerging technologies that maybe we haven't even considered in ways not previously imagined, novel tactics on the battlefield that we haven't seen before, and not just once or twice, not one-offs, but multiple times throughout your careers. You must overcome those conditions. Again, don't let that world happen to you. You happen to that world. Today, I want to offer you advice that served my peers and I well when we confronted these types of unexpected scenarios. I've spent a significant portion of a 42-year career. Yeah, that's right, 42 years. I know, I started when I was 6 years old. We're just going to go with that, roll with it. Preparing to fight an adversary and then finding ourselves in a different war completely than the one we had imagined and trained for, but that training still mattered. Our approaches still mattered. I learned valuable lessons from this experience, lessons about the importance of intellectual agility and creativity. A rigid adherence to outdated assumptions is a recipe for catastrophic surprise in a rapidly changing world. Always expect the unexpected. Don't let that world happen to you. You happen to it. I offer the following recommendations to think through on a couple of things that have kind of played out well for me over the last few years in my military career. The first is read widely and voraciously. And I think on that note also, try not to use the word voraciously if you can help it. And it sounds pretentious. Also, don't use the word pretentious. But I think that the point of being well-read and learned in your profession is incredibly important. The future battlefield will demand not just physical courage and tactical expertise, but also the capacity to learn and then unlearn and then relearn at an accelerated pace. And we see that today on the news in Ukraine, in Iran, and all the different events that we see today where we see that the world is not at peace. That is infinitely easier when you have a wide base of knowledge to draw from. Though be careful of misapplied analogies and heuristics. No model is accurate. The one thing you know about a model of the world is it's not right. It's how close to right is it, and how much does it apply to the scenario that I find myself in at a certain time. But you can still and you should learn from them. History does not repeat itself, but often it does rhyme, and sometimes it rhymes very closely. It's too late in the fight for deep reading and deep thinking and deep study. We should learn from history as well as current events to ensure we're prepared for whatever comes next. We won't let the world happen to us. We will happen to the world. Think critically and creatively and encourage your soldiers to do the same. You must become more than just consumers of information. You must become critical thinkers, analytical minds capable of dissecting complex situations and identifying opportunities where others see only obstacles. They let the world happen to them. We won't. Treat cognitive bias as an obstacle. Question your basic assumptions. Challenge the status quo and foster a culture of intellectual curiosity within your units. Encourage your soldiers to think, to challenge conventional wisdom, and to explore unconventional approaches. Don't let the world happen to you or your team. We happen to the world. Embrace emerging technologies. Understand their potential applications in warfare, but also recognize their limitations and vulnerabilities. That is a huge part of what we do in United States Space Command every day. Don't dismiss new technologies out of hand, no matter how inconsequential they may seem. Ukraine is a great example. Cultivate the ability to see the battlefield from multiple perspectives. Your enemies, your allies, and the perspectives of the people living in the crossfire. Develop a deep understanding of the human terrain, appreciating the cultural differences, the political dynamics, and the social factors that influence the conduct of modern warfare. The Army values adaptability and initiative, and for very good reason. These qualities are essential for survival and success in this complex and ever-evolving world you will face. I'm just making sure we're safe back here. It looks like we're good. My speech is on fire. I guess I'm not sure. Here we go. We're getting to the end here. Everybody, hang on. I said something really important, and then I went to this page. All right. Command presence. Hey, think about this. For all of you, being a leader, try to be the leader you want to be led by. I can't think of a better test for yourself to say, am I doing this right? Am I leading right? Because leading is the mainstay of why the United States Army needs you to lead our forces on the field of battle. I think that you want to be able to learn and train and delegate where you can. Make the decisions only you can make, and push others down to an appropriate level to continue to grow your team as leaders. As in all things, find the balance between inclusiveness and transparency in decision-making, and know when discretion is the better part of that process. Be confident and show confidence, even when you don't necessarily feel confident, even when the fire truck pulls up behind you. Highlight your team's success at every turn. It's our nature to find, highlight, and work on our challenges and our problem areas, but recognizing when the team is getting it right is just as important, and maybe more so. Find your trusted agents, senior NCOs, platoon sergeants, a mentor within your team, adjacent platoon leaders, and ask for candid feedback on your words, actions, and command presence. It's a lesson I learned late in my career, but once learned, I've glommed onto it, and it has helped me to very purposely try to improve as a leader. Candid feedback from people whose opinions matter to you is worth solid gold. You, the graduates of this advanced camp, represent the future of the Army. You're the leaders who will navigate an uncertain and challenging future. Embrace this responsibility and cultivate your creativity and intellectual agility. Never stop learning and never cease to grow as leaders while growing leaders yourself. Thank you for what you signed up for what you will take an oath for, supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States of America. Without our military, our nation, and our ideals on which it is founded would not have survived for the last 249 years, which we just celebrated 2 years ago. Our nation, the greatest on the planet, that is really the hope for a free world. Despite all the problems we focus on in the news and around the dinner table, our nation remains the shining example of the path to a stable future based on democratic principles and values. As important as that is, it cannot exist without a strong military. It cannot exist without you. To fight and win under the current ever-changing character of warfare, you must be proactive in your leadership, your readiness, your warfighting approach. Don't just react to the world you see. Don't let that world happen to you. You happen to the world. Congratulations on a remarkable achievement today. Go forth and lead with courage, conviction, creativity, and unwavering commitment to the values that define our Army and our nation. Our future rests in your capable hands. As a leader in the greatest Army the world has ever seen, take charge of your military career, no matter how long it may be. Be innovative, embrace and lead change, meet your moral responsibilities while leading your team to meet theirs, following in the finest traditions of the United States Army. Your country is counting on you. Make your actions count. Thank you very much. Be all you can be.
At this time, the Cadet Regiment will perform the ceremonial pass in review. Please remember to stand and render honors to the nation as the colors pass. Now passing the reviewing stand is the 338th Army Band from Whitehall, Ohio and Livonia, Michigan, commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 3, Teresa Hudson, and Drum Major, Staff Sergeant Jarrett Barr. Now passing the reviewing stand is the Commander of Troops for today's graduation, Cadet Raymond DePhillips from Cameron University. Now passing the reviewing stand is Alpha Company, led by Cadet John Thompson from Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Now passing the reviewing stand is Bravo Company, led by Cadet Ramal Dupree from George Mason University. Now passing the reviewing stand is the Color Guard, led by Cadet Joshua Tripp from Cameron University. Now passing the reviewing stand is Charlie Company, led by Cadet Michael Marshall from Michigan Technological University. Now passing the reviewing stand is Delta Company, led by Cadet Zion Songanuga from Syracuse University. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song. The words can be found in your program.
Sir, this concludes today's ceremony. Leadership excellence, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 1st Regiment Cadet Summer Training 2025 graduation ceremony. As a reminder, this ceremony can be viewed at youtube.com/Army ROTC. Photos from today's ceremony can be viewed at flickr.com/Army ROTC. Family and friends, please allow for a few moments for your cadets to prepare for departure before joining them in the family area to your right side of the field. Thank you for attending. Leadership Excellence.